the simple guide to where to find money for the down payment. Listen on to hear these 5 tips on where you can find your down payment money. Hi there, I'm Ella Gurfinkel, Senior Loan Officer at Fairway Independent Mortgage, Team Ella, and I'm going to show you 5 different ways you could come up with a down payment that you may have not known about. So, thing 1, how do you come up with a down payment? And more importantly, what are the requirements? Not just requirements for having the money, but what are the requirements for documenting where that money comes from? Because guess what? I'd say probably 30 to 40% of my clients stumble not in the department of where to find the money for down payment, but how do we satisfy the requirements for documenting the sourcing of the said money. So the first thing everybody needs to understand is that no matter what your source of down payment funds is, and whether you do have the money, possibly what we refer to as mattress money, we always need to document where that money is coming from. So the first thing to consider is documenting where the money comes from and what we refer to in the mortgage industry as seasoning of your money. So if you do have the funds, but they're not in your bank account, do yourself a favor, please. Get that money into your bank account as quickly as possible and let it season, meaning sit there for at least 2 months. As long as that money has been in your bank account for 2 months, and we've seen in your bank statements that it's been there for 2 months, you're golden, you're fine. Now, that was not a tip. That was a simple requirement. Here are the tips. Listen on. So tip number 1, most people don't know about IDAs, and I covered them extensively in one of my other videos, so please subscribe, look for it, and listen to that one. But IDAs are individual development accounts where you can receive a match for your savings from a state or a municipal agency providing a down payment assistance. So that's your tip number 1. Your source number 2, look for down payment assistance options. Again, just did a video on that, so please find it. Down payment assistance comes in many forms: federal, state, localized, etc. If you can't come up with your own down payment, no matter what, down payment assistance is an amazing way to get into your own home with little to no money out of pocket. Tip number 3, this may not be for everybody, but gifts from family are perfectly acceptable for the majority of lending programs. Gift implies that the money doesn't have to be repaid. Family, there has to be a familial relationship. And recently there have been some relaxation on the requirements of what qualifies as the familial relationship. So if I launch into the whole list of who qualifies, this will be an hour-long video. Therefore, if you do have questions on gifts specifically, reach out to me directly, comment below, and I'll be more than happy to respond to that to you individually for your individual situation. Number 4, if you have individual retirement accounts, IRAs, or better yet, if you have 401ks that you can borrow from, that, my friends, is the best possibly source of down payment because you're borrowing from yourself, repaying yourself without really giving up your own money, but it's a way to get into your own home. There will be a full-blown video on just the 401k IRA money, the pros and the cons, and different ways to tap into it. But in the meantime, if you have an IRA or a 401k that you can tip into, let me know or let your lender know. Subscribe and ask below. Tip number 5. This one is a little tricky. You can sell stuff. Yes, you heard me right. You can sell stuff. And where it gets tricky is documenting the worth, the value of the stuff you're selling, and documenting that you had the stuff in the first place to sell. So if you're selling a car, that's pretty obvious. You should have a registration to the car or a title. You can come up with a bill of sale. There's a whole slew of requirements when it comes to that. We can always walk you through that. So car is simple. Something that has a title to it is also simple. But certain things, like I said, stuff can become very tricky in the end, but it is definitely doable. And documenting the sale of stuff, meaning your possessions, to come up with additional money for the down payment is actually not a bad idea, not in every case at least. And that can help you get into your own home a lot sooner than you were imagining you could. If you liked what I had to say, please comment below, subscribe, and ask your questions. Don't be shy. I won't bite, I promise.